Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another episode of The Season Keepers, the show where the only two people we recommend keeping for the season is us. My name's Matt, aka Clean Sheet Wipeout.
My name's James, aka FPL Drug.
Good to see you again, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. The nights are drawing in. Getting a bit cold up here, up north.
It's cold down here as well, mate, and the beards are coming out. Lockdown's back.
I think so.
Always a problem. Well, at least we have still got the football to deal with, so that's all right.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think we'll just jump straight into the reviews. There's lots to talk about this week.
Let's do it.
One game that isn't much to talk about, though. Brighton 0, Burnley 0. What a bore fest.
Yeah, wasn't great, was it? Not box office.
No, definitely not. I mean, they've had a habit of picking some of these games, haven't they? But I had this on whilst I was doing the dishes. That's how much this game meant to me. We saw, obviously, Mope and Ryan after their bust up in training that seems to have come out in the media. Surprisingly, both straight back into the team. So that was a bit of a shock, I think, across the community. Obviously, I was happy for Mope to come back in for my Sky team, but he did fuck all, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see them go straight back in. People were thinking maybe they'll miss out a few games. Obviously, people doing transfers on the basis of that information. So if you're playing Sky, then it's not really worthwhile. It wasn't worthwhile taking them out, but I can understand why you would have done it.
Oh, yeah. No, obviously, we know Ellie, my fiance, took out Matt Ryan because she was pissed off the fact that he got dropped. Brought in Mendy for Chelsea, and then obviously Matt Ryan keeps a clean sheet. So, well, yeah, one of those things. We're both chasing her. Other than that, I'm worried about Burnley. You know, I think like we've spoken about in the last pod, I don't think things are right there defensively. Yeah, you know, they might be a bit more astute now that they've got their kind of back four and Pope, but up top they're really struggling.
Yeah, I think they need a bit more across the park, to be honest, and definitely squad depth as well, because obviously those injuries in the start of the season hurt them. Yeah, I think they're very vulnerable to injuries, so they've obviously got quite a small squad. Yeah,
but other than that, I think we can move on because not many people would have stayed tuned to that game. The next one, though, however, had us both cheering and shouting from the rooftops as Southampton beat Newcastle 2-0, top of the league.
I know. For the first time ever in the Premier League. Obviously, we were top in 1988 before we were both born in the old First Division. But yeah, first time top of the Premier League. Brilliant.
I know, tell me about it. Especially given we were obviously a bit worried with Ings missing out. We thought it'd be interesting to see how we set up. But again, I thought we played brilliantly. Theo, to be fair, I think probably had one of his best games in years. Obviously, we haven't really seen him much for Everton recently, but I thought he played really, really well alongside Adams.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't expect Adams to bag a goal in Ings' absence. I thought maybe he might suffer without Ings, but if anything, he just carried on as usual. Obviously, very good for KWP owners, getting those 3 bonus points and the clean sheet, something I didn't really expect from him, to be honest. So I was delighted to see that.
I was quite surprised he got the 3 bonus points, to be fair. I thought Armstrong should have probably got them. I know he was a BPS behind, I think. But yeah, it was surprising to see a 9-point, but I'm not going to complain about it. The other thing was obviously Redmond stayed on the bench again. Armstrong was on the right and Gineppo on the left this time.
Yeah. I imagine Redmond's maybe getting a bit frustrated because he did play fairly well last time he started, but maybe Frank, Ralph, conscious of keeping the squad fresh, wanting to rotate it around a little bit, trying his options. But I mean, he got the 3 points, so I think obviously the gaffer and the team are going to be happy.
Well, exactly, and I think we've lacked that kind of competition for places in the years gone by, haven't we? You know, we've always kind of had the youth sat on the bench rather than players like, you know, Redmond or, you know, obviously we've had Shane Long there. But it's nice to see that you can bring these players on. Whereas previously, you know, if we were taken off like an Armstrong, for instance, it would be one of the young boys, and maybe trying to bed them into the Premier League. So now that we've got bigger names sat on the bench, I think it's good to see, and it's going to be good for our overall progress, hopefully.
I think it helps because we were a bit thin on the ground when we had like injuries with like Gineppo. Then you had like the likes of Smallbone coming in and starting. I think it's much better to have, for now anyway, players like Redmond on your bench than say a Smallbone. I think Smallbone will come good in a couple of years, but I think for now it's great to have Redmond coming off the bench.
Yeah, I don't think Smallbone was ready when he came in, and obviously that's another one of the reasons maybe why we've brought in someone like Diallo, because you've got Romeu and Prowsey both playing brilliantly. To be fair, they're kind of undroppable at the moment, but if one gets injured or if one does go off form, you've now got someone like Diallo to come off the bench or start, rather than again having to go to maybe someone like Smallbone. So again, it can only be good for progress, and that's probably one of the reasons why we've seen. I think we're sitting fourth at the moment, which, given the start of the season that we had and how worried we were, I didn't think we'd be here.
No, not at all. Things are really looking up for us. I think we haven't even bedded in Salisu yet, I think.
No.
So, yeah, it's fantastic.
It is, yeah. I think
top of the league, fourth in the top half. I'm happy, to be honest.
God, yeah. And both of our goals came from this press. It's just the energy that I think we've got about the squad at the moment. It's just we're getting it, getting at Newcastle in this particular game. And to be fair, arguably, I was a bit pissed off at the end result because we should have scored 4 or 5. We didn't take our chances, which in other games has obviously come to bite us. But this time, thankfully, we got the 2 goals and got the win.
Agreed. Yeah, I think better teams would have punished us there, where we typically don't go on to kill the game. But yeah, thankful for the result.
Yeah, and I guess on the other side, Newcastle, they weren't great. Probably the main talking point will be Callum Wilson's injury, and the fact that we think he's going to be out for a little while. I've seen rumours that he could potentially miss out for the rest of the year, but
wow,
I don't know how true they are. It was just something that I've seen being banded around, that there are rumours going around that it's maybe worse than what we think it was, but we'll have to see for official confirmation.
I thought it was just his hamstring, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I guess 6 to 8 weeks for a hamstring. You're talking early to mid-December.
Yeah,
but
do you mean the rest of the year, not the end of the season?
Yeah, no, yeah, rest of this calendar year. No. He's not gone and done both his cruciate ligaments. No, just to the end of 2020.
Okay, yeah, very lucky escape for me. I nearly brought him in. I brought in somebody else instead. We'll talk about him later. A mixed bag.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, should we move on to the Everton Man United game?
I think we should, and another brilliant game, to be fair. Yeah, Everton 1, Man United 3, and talk of the town was Bruno Fernandes.
He certainly was. Devastated that I didn't captain him in Sky. I went for James Rodriguez, much to pain for me. But yeah, solid performance from Man United. I think Bruno, now you're thinking of him in terms of like KDB. You're thinking, why have I not got him in my team? Also, I don't have KDB in my team, my official FPL team anyway. I think, and obviously he's more than pens. A great header, jumped up like a salmon.
Brilliant header, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, again,
you associate with him, you associate more the assists. You don't really think headers when you think of Bruno Fernandes.
No, you really don't. Watching it, I guess he seemed to have so much freedom, and like we mentioned on the last pod, I think he was a bit more isolated when he was playing with Pogba, because they both kind of want to, get into the spaces. Whereas this time he almost had that free role, and with Everton, obviously they were putting in some of the challenges, kind of getting the players going. And I think Bruno's the type of player that thrives under that. So if someone puts a challenge on him, it gets him pumped. And you could see it, he just wanted to make the moves, kind of be that creative player for Man United. And at the end of the day, 2 goals and an assist. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
No, superb. I think it's a good point about Pogba. I think he almost gets in the way if they feel like obviously feels like he has to play him when fit. Obviously, because he's a big star and has the potential, a great range of passing, but he's just not really looked at it this season.
No, I think Ollie's struggled to find a way of getting them both into the team, and obviously when he has, it just hasn't worked. And it kind of also has a detriment to the forward line as well, because then, like you said, if they're tripping over each other in midfield, you're then lacking that final pass to make it through to like Martial, Rashford. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah, it may seem controversial, but I just thought now maybe loan him out to like PSG or something. It's someone that would take him, and then take him back at the end of the season. See, I think he's just maybe potentially getting in the way.
Yeah, I can see Man United going without Pogba. And I really wouldn't be surprised come the end of the season if Pogba moved on, to be honest, because I just don't think it's working, as we've noticed. And now that they've got Bruno, he's kind of that creative force that they want. So moving forward, I think obviously I think he seems to get all of his returns in away games, which I don't know whether that's to do with the opposition that they've played away recently, but he's ended up playing, Newcastle away, got 11 points, Brighton away, 12 points, Everton away, 17. But for the home games, he's had very limited returns. I don't know whether that's something to read into. Yeah, it was just something I noticed analysing it. Obviously, they're Palace, Tottenham, Chelsea and Arsenal at home, so arguably stiffer competition, maybe. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on this weekend after the international break against West Brom. Obviously, that's a home game. And then I think they've got 2 away games after that. So maybe it's time to jump on Bruno if we're not already. Neither of us have got him.
And it's not exactly easy for me to get him either.
Yeah, we'll see. But Everton, on the other hand, continue to fail to win games without Richarlison.
Yeah, I think they're missing him. I did think at first they'd be okay without him, Calvert-Lewin and Rodriguez being enough, but I think he adds a certain spice to Everton that's missing. I think maybe flair, maybe he might even be in the dressing room. He's quite a feisty character.
Yeah.
Just a bit of energy to the team, really. I think they weren't really at the races against Man United. They're just a bit sloppy. Again, it'd be interesting to see how they do against Fulham. Obviously, Man United are a fairly decent team, but I think a better measure of how Everton are still performing would be against Fulham.
Yeah, no, I agreed. And obviously, they should have everybody fit and firing by then.
And I'd hold for Fulham as well.
Yeah, I've seen a stat. I think it's Everton have only won 1 game where Richarlison hasn't played for them since he signed.
Wow, yeah. That's a stat. That's a stat and a half. That maybe why they aren't doing that well recently.
Potentially, yeah. I think he genuinely is a talisman for them. And when he's not playing, they struggle. As well as Bernard played, he's not Richarlison at the end of the day. What did you make of DCL's assist?
Cheeky.
Yeah, it doesn't touch it. Like, I don't think he got the ball at all. He kind of jumps up. Was it with Lindelof? And
yeah, it's Lindelof. Everyone was going mental, obviously.
I mean, I've got him. I'm not going to fucking complain about it, but I'd be annoyed on the other side. And obviously, Sky haven't given him the assist for that. They don't give deflected assists or dubious assists. So I can see why.
Oh, it's a non-owner. I'll be screaming. I'll be fuming. I'll take that.
Yeah, it was one of those funny ones, and obviously I don't think Pickford looked particularly great in the game again. Be interesting to see if he misses out eventually. I know Ancelotti came out and said Pickford was only going to miss the 1 game. He's going to come back for United, but was that the right decision? I'm not so sure.
Maybe they'll give Olsen another go. I mean, he conceded I think it was 2 when he played, but that's only 1 game. I mean, Pickford's had a fair crack at the whip, so maybe Olsen will get another shot.
Exactly.
Or even Lossell.
Yeah, no, true. All right, well, let's move on to the next game. For me, it was one hell of a surprise. Crystal Palace 4, Leeds 1.
Yeah, I did not expect this result at all. I was climbing Pendle Hill in Lancashire when this game was going on, so
Nice.
I've only seen the highlights. Yeah, they burnt a load of witches up there. Apparently, I didn't know that.
Oh, well.
Yeah, interesting place.
Is that why you took the missus? No, don't tell her I
Yeah.
said that. Don't tell her I said that.
I did not burn her.
Good.
There we go. Bamford, for me, is the takeaway from this. Another goal, another return, and I'm still not. He's not in my team.
I don't think he's
Look
in.
bad.
Yeah, he's
So cheap.
still not in. He's in 34.5%. So he is rising, but he should have had 2 goals. Have you seen the offside decision?
I think it was really tight, wasn't it? I think
It was, yeah, one really tight, and I don't think he was offside. And 2, he's been given
I think
offside
it's
because
his
he's
arm, isn't it?
pointing to where he wants the fucking ball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a joke. You're not
absolutely.
allowed to point now. Like that's
Yeah. So I don't know how you're supposed to tell midfielders where you want the ball now, because you're not even allowed to point. And even where they are, the fucking line was drawn. The fact that it's on the edge of his shirt, if your arm's up like that, your shirt automatically rides, so it's not in a fixed position anyway. So to give Bamford offside for that was fucking madness.
Yeah, something needs to be done about this. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I understand they've got to do it objectively and it's got to be scientific and a certain calibration or a certain distance, but just extend the distance or the margin of error. Make
it's
bullshit. Clear and obvious. It's not clear and obvious if they're arguing in the studio about it.
Exactly. Like I think it's both an issue with the offside rule and VAR, because the offside rule is one thing. I think the benefit, the attacker is no longer there at all. But VAR is highlighting this, and then the fact that they're now, changing rules to allow VAR to work a bit more progressively, with the handball rule and all that stuff. It's nonsense, because we're now getting down to the millimeter, and you can no longer celebrate goals, and it's killing football.
It's too forensic, and it saps the emotion out of the moment. It's gone. You're thinking, oh well, can I celebrate? No, not really. I have to wait.
Exactly, and it changes games. That would have brought Leeds level 1-1 at that point. And then Leeds, potentially could have gone on. That they've got the goal quickly, go on to maybe have a different game. But then, Palace then go on, and in fairness, deservedly, go on to win 4-1. I think Palace played the game brilliantly. They kind of countered Leeds when Leeds pushed forward, found the space really quickly. And I thought Eze in particular had a brilliant game. I was really, really impressed with Eze.
Yeah, it's a good shout to potentially bring in. Obviously, he's not been playing too much this season so far, but got 90 minutes under his belt and got a goal and an assist, 3 bonus points.
Yeah.
He's gone down to, 5.8 million now, so fairly cheap differential if you want one. Yeah. Especially with Palace playing against a decent Leeds side and turn them over 4-1. I think it's worth considering.
Yeah, and he's only owned by 0.5% of the game. So it's one hell of a differential if you're going to jump on him. And obviously we're used to free kick specialists in Prowsey, but that was one hell of a free kick from Eze. So if he's got that in his locker, potentially worth jumping on.
Agreed.
All right, let's move on then. Chelsea 4, Sheffield United 1. And an incredibly frustrating game to watch for me, particularly as a Werner owner.
Yeah. Another 4-1 here. I don't know. I wasn't happy, to be honest. Zuma, seeing Chilwell return, when I had the money to upgrade Zuma to Chilwell, that kind of hurt me a little bit.
Yeah, same. I had the money and I picked Zuma over Chilwell, thinking, clean sheet. And I was also a bit worried, rotation potentially with the wing backs. But now Chilwell once again gets a goal. Thankfully didn't pick up bonus points this time around. But even his goal was fluky. I mean, he played really well. I thought he was brilliant, but he does not mean the finish that he does when it's whipped in at the back post.
I guess the thing is, he's always there, though, isn't he?
But yeah, he's there. Position. That's the thing, and he is always there. So he's going to pick up returns constantly, and obviously, I don't really want to double up on Chelsea, but with Trent's injury, which we'll talk about later, Chilwell feels the ideal replacement. But I've already got Zuma now, so
Yeah, I could have upgraded, I think, a 4.5 because I've got 1.4 on the bank to Chilwell, but now I'm priced out of that move.
Yeah,
So
he's already at the rise, isn't
that'd be 5.9. I could have done it. I was looking at it. I was thinking of doing it, and then the next morning I was like, "Shit, it's got up to 6 mil."
he? I think it's crazy. Obviously, people are making transfers now. We've got internationals, we've got COVID, but
Exactly.
you're going to have a whole host of people that are happy to make those transfers and take that gamble. But I'm not one of them, so I'm going to have to suffer these price rises before I get in players that I really want. Another player that was exceptional was Ziyech. I thought unbelievable. Like he's got a wand of a left foot. The balls that he was pinging in, arguably could have got 3 or 4 assists in this game and even a goal. I thought he was, by far the standout player for Chelsea.
Yeah, it's what people expected from Pulisic. Obviously, you can't help him being injured, but yeah, he's delivering a good job. I think we recommended him last week, and
Yep.
he's repaid us there with 2 assists. I think it was 11 points he was on, wasn't it? Doubled to 22. I've seen a few captain.
Yeah. 11 points, yeah.
Yeah, 11 points. I think at that price point, I think playing in a good, confident Chelsea team, I think is worth considering again.
Oh,
Maybe
and again,
four,
another
4-3.
differential because at time of recording, he's only 12% owned. So, it's not a bad pick. The issue for me with the front three, obviously, we had Havertz missing through COVID, and then Pulisic's missing through injury, which as a Werner owner is frustrating because it means Werner then gets pushed out to the left. Abraham obviously then comes in through the middle, and Werner looks so lost out on the left. Like he's finding very limited space, and when he does get a chance, like the one where he was one-on-one, chipped it over the keeper and went wide. I genuinely almost threw the remote control at the wall. I was fucking furious. We'll talk about it later, but I brought him in Sky as well, and then I thought, no, that's it. I'm done. I'm finished. So for him to get his goal at the end was quite nice, but I just wish he was playing through the middle. And I know, maybe it's something we're going to have to deal with as Werner owners. They might, keep Abraham. He's scoring goals, so can you really drop him? But I still think the best front three is going to be Ziyech, Pulisic, and Werner, and then Havertz, Mount, and probably either Kovacic or Jorginho in behind. So
Yeah, I agree. I think playing on the left isn't really suited. He was just finding his feet through the middle. Shall
yeah,
we talk about Sheffield United?
yeah. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm really concerned. Defensively, they had been okay up until now. We touched on last week that they were only losing by a goal, but for them to obviously get trumped 4-1 by Chelsea and not look great, they got the early goal. Obviously in McGoldrick, really good finish to be fair. Although Chelsea did switch off at the corner, but other than that, they didn't really trouble them. And I really feel sorry for Ryan Brewster because he looks lost.
Yeah, I think I'm concerned as well. To be honest, I think Ramsdale 6 saves, saving grace. If anyone owns him in FPL, obviously he conceded 4, but at least you get those 2 points. Is it 2? It's 2, isn't it, for 6? Yeah, 2 points for Ramsdale. I'd be looking to ship out Sheffield United players. You got rid of Egan, didn't you?
Yep, I did. I got rid of Egan for Zuma.
Yeah, had him too long. He had other things going wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had other fires to put out, so I've kept hold of him. But yeah, I'm really concerned about Sheffield United and their form at the moment. And they've got a couple of good fixtures to come. They've obviously got West Ham, West Brom, Leeds, Sheffield United, Man United, Brighton in their next 6. So they really need to be picking up points in the next 3 or 4 games. Whether they do is a different story. And if they don't, say come game week 14 and they're still, struggling at the bottom, I genuinely think they could go down this season. And I know Sheffield United fans don't want to hear that, but there's something not quite right there. And it's all well and good Wilder saying, it's not my tactic. It's the players that are struggling to kind of adapt to it and get into it. But there's only so long you can say that, surely.
Yeah, and ultimately he is responsible. So I think the press will only take that a few more times before they'll question his management.
Yeah, agreed.
And another team I'm worried about is Fulham. However, I think they actually played okay against West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham 1, Fulham 0. And an exciting end to this game in particular, wasn't it?
An infuriating end for anyone that owns Lookman, I'd imagine. What's he doing? I mean, there's a time and place for those stupid penalties, and that's when you're 5-0 up and it doesn't matter. But to do that in an injury time is just madness. I think. What is he thinking?
I don't know. Honestly, if I was Scott Parker, and I think in his interview he said he was angry, I'd be fucking fuming. If you, Lookman, I'd expect, if he walked into that dressing room at the end of that game, I wouldn't be surprised if people threw water bottles at him, because it was a joke. If someone does that, even in Sunday League, we'd all be fucking raging if someone stepped up, took a pen like that, and you were losing 1-0, arguably the last kick of the game, and you go and attempt a Panenka. Not only do you attempt it, but it's so bad that the keeper can dive, get up, and still catch the ball. Like, come on.
Yeah, I've seen old people during half time hit shots harder than that. Obviously, the idea of a Panenka is to slowly tease it into the other opposing side where the goalkeeper dives. But no, time and place for it, as we say, and no,
Dreadful.
not good.
No, I don't think he'll be taking another penalty for them again. Obviously, on the other hand, we saw Souček finally get his goal, and we've been saying for weeks that he's due, and he delivered.
Yeah, it was coming. I mean, I owned him for a while and put up with him through the 2s and 3s, and then got off at clearly the wrong time.
Yeah.
He went on my wild card. But he was always looking threatening. He was just marauding his way forward. He'd end up in the box half the time in the last 10 minutes of games, just because of his aerial threat. And clearly paid off being in the area and near the end of the game.
I think it's going to be the start.
I don't think it was near the end of the game, but his return was coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be probably the start of many for Souček. I think, West Ham they look for him in the box particularly, and like you say, he's always arriving late, and to do that, he's then obviously got the force kind of behind him that he can score these headers, and he's brilliant at them. Benrahma, obviously, we saw him come into the fold, and then he got the assist in his first game for West Ham. Another player that I was really impressed with, and I know you own him, is Kufal.
Yeah, I'm very happy with him. He's bombing forward on that right flank. His deliveries are really good as well. Hence why he's got a couple of assists so far this season. Every cross he puts in, got a fair bit of bend on it. Looks decent. Sort of maybe not as good as Alexander Arnold, but close. It's definitely better this season anyway.
Better. I mean, I brought Kufal in for Sky for that reason, because I've been really impressed. And I thought as a game as a whole, West Ham had a really good first half and then a slow second half. And I'm not quite sure why that was, but obviously they dug in, didn't really let Fulham grow into the game too much, and then got the win.
Yeah, they got it done. I think they'll be a bit frustrated they didn't win by more or really push on. Again, similar to us, they kind of just sort of sat on it, I guess.
Yeah, and we've obviously, at the very start of the season, we all questioned West Ham and how good they'd be. I think they've been brilliant. And now this is the turn of fixtures that we all spoke about. So obviously from game week 9, they then play Sheffield United, Villa, and obviously United, but then Leeds, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Brighton, Saints, Everton, West Brom, Burnley. It's a lovely run of fixtures, probably all the way up until 21 with the odd red one thrown in there. So if they've been that good for the last 8 games, surely we're all going to be having at least one, fingers crossed, Antonio when he's fit, because in FPL and Sky, he's a bargain.
Agreed. I think, first point of call would be Antonio, and if you're feeling punty, I'd go for Bowen. I think with the exception of the last 2 games, he's returned fairly often and looked really good in terms of watching the game, passing the eye test, if you will. He's electric. He's energised. I think him with Antonio, I think West Ham are a very good team.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right, well, let's jump on to Sunday's game. So a game that we expected so much from, and arguably got very little, unless you're a Kane owner, was West Brom 0, Spurs 1.
Fucking frustrating watch if you're on the double up like most of us are with Son and Kane. It's, yeah, just waiting for things to happen, really. Son, I mean, how much time did he need for that chance?
Oh, I know. It's almost like he looked, he saw the gap, he waited, saw the gap again, waited again, and I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, someone that's normally so clinical and will hit that first time,
Yep.
no hesitation, was hesitated.
Yeah, big time. I've never seen him do that. It was really, really strange.
Out of character, and hopefully he'll be back to his ways against City. I'm likely to hold. I'm not sure if you will, though.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. We'll talk about that later.
There
But
we go.
obviously, it's the first time we've seen Bale, Son, and Kane start as a 3 properly in the Premier League, and I was a little bit disappointed. To be fair, you've got to give West Brom credit, because I think West Brom set up really well to kind of stifle Spurs, and I think they got their tactics right. To be fair, they probably definitely should have come away with something in this game. They were really unlucky. They hit the outside of the post. Obviously, it took Kane, was it 80, 85 plus minutes, 88 minutes to score. So, incredibly unlucky. Obviously, for us, Kane owners and captainers, we were jubilant because we ended up getting a 9-point return for Kane, when in fact, I think it probably should have been 2. But they got the job done, they got the points, and they move on. Although if they play like that against some of the teams that they're coming up against soon, and obviously this fixture turn that we're all talking about, I think Spurs could struggle.
Yeah, potentially. I think credit to West Brom. They did play really well. I think Bilic might have motivated them. I understand he did a sort of speech where he basically said, like, look, you said we were going to be rock bottom. We're not rock bottom. Like, come on. And
Yeah.
I think they look really organised at the back, and I think they were hard to break down. And I think as lacking as Tottenham were, I think it was just a strong defensive performance from West Brom, albeit the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they just seem to lack that kind of creative spark to break them down. But like you said, all credit to West Brom for stifling them for so long. I was at the point where I was actually hoping it was going to stay 0-0 and I'd get the Johnston returns, because he's arguably a far bigger differential than Captain and Kane. But, well.
Yeah, mixed emotions for me. I was delighted to see Kane score to ruin your clean sheet in goal, but then I captained Son, so...
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot more to talk about in that game. So, Leicester 1, Wolves 0. And there's a few decisions in this game that I think were arguable.
Yeah, I only caught the highlights. Obviously, got your text about Vardy missing a pen.
Yeah.
Obviously, I text Matt first saying chat shit get banged after Vardy scored the first one, and then felt a bit silly, obviously, when he missed the second.
Absolutely. But for me, it wasn't a pen, the first one. Obviously, the ball was kind of whipped in, hits Max Kilman on the arm, but in real-time view, his arms are as close to his body as he can get them. I don't think, the position that he was in is a penalty. And then when the ref goes to the VAR monitor, why is it that the first view he sees is a slow motion replay?
That's a fair point, actually, because that's obviously not how he would see it, or how he did see it. Obviously, it changes your opinion as well, because slowed down, it will look more deliberate. You got to appreciate that ball's coming towards him at a fair amount of speed, and if you're slowing it down, it just changes the perception of it.
Exactly.
I think, yeah.
It looks as though his arm's out there for a lot longer than it is. It looks more intentional. It's almost as if they put that replay up there straight away to prove to the ref that he'd got his decision wrong, because obviously he hadn't given it. And VAR were the ones that told him to review. So in doing that, they're kind of influencing, in my opinion, his decision, which shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, arguably so. I think that there's another problem with this alongside the offsides. I think the handballs are getting ridiculous as well.
Yeah, I agreed. But I thought Leicester played really well. I was really impressed with Fofana. He's obviously come in due to some injuries at the back. And looks completely full of confidence, doesn't really look out of sorts in the Premier League. And I'd probably, if you were looking to maybe bring in less the defensive assets and you're a little bit worried about, potentially Justin's place in the team when Pereira comes back, Fofana could be the one to go for. He's only 5 million and at the moment only owned by 0.2% of the game. So not many people are on him.
No, and a clean sheet, so worth considering.
Well, yeah, clean sheet and 2 bonus points. I mean, he played really, really well. Obviously, Vardy then missed that pen. Patricio got the pen saves, which for me in Sky was brilliant because I've got him as my Sky keeper in both teams, so that was nice. But I think Wolves struggled to break Leicester down. Really, they didn't really have too many efforts on goal, other than I think it was Neves had an unbelievable strike, and Schmeichel somehow pulls it out, like tips it around the post with the arm coming across his body to flick it around. Other than that, they didn't really challenge, and obviously I suffered the 59th minute of Podence being taken off, which is fucking frustrating. Another problem that I've got to potentially look at. So that was an annoying thing. But yeah, I still think Wolves will come good. They've got a decent couple of games in the next 4, but it is looking at it tough probably between now up until Christmas. They've got Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Man United in the next 8 games. So maybe the time to come off Wolves is now.
I was going to say, would you move off Jimenez?
Yeah, I think both me and you got rid of Jimenez a while ago, didn't we? But if you want him, there are far better options out there at his price at the moment. Far better fixture runs. And even for someone like Podence, I've held on to him because of his price for so long. But again, there are better options out there. And with Trent's injury and stuff, there's a view to save money. Means you can spend it elsewhere. So I very much think Podence won't be in my squad for game week 9.
That's a shame.
Fuck you. Right, let's move on to what I thought was probably one of the best halves of football that we've seen in the Premier League so far. Was Man City 1, Liverpool 1.
Yeah, the two, arguably the top 2 teams now in the league. I think that's pretty proven over the last couple of seasons. I think the return of Jesus. What we're thinking about now he's back. I think obviously Man City, a lot of people are talking about the turn in fixtures. What's your thoughts on that?
I genuinely think potentially the time is, well, maybe not this week because they play Spurs away. So, if you have other fires or, you're holding a transfer, it might be worth the wait and see. But then after that, they've got Burnley, Fulham, West Brom, Saints, Newcastle in their next 6.
I'm not saying anymore, mate. That's a red fixture. That's a game week 5.
The Saints game should definitely be red fixture. So, don't touch them. But no, I think, potentially De Bruyne in particular. He had that pen miss, which, again, I don't think it was a penalty, but we'll get onto that. He got his assist. Jesus got his goal. Sterling was perhaps unlucky, but I think we only properly seen a half of football in this game. It's almost like they went at each other for the first half and then came out at half time, agreed that they weren't going to hurt each other. They weren't going to really go full gung-ho. They were going to prove a point to the media that, players are tiring. And they were basically on the beach for the second half. So annoying to watch.
Well, yeah, it's interesting, the moaning about the subs whilst not making up the full 3.
It's bollocks. Man City used 1 sub and Liverpool used 2. You can't fucking moan about needing 5 subs when you use 1. Then you look like you're bringing Phil Foden on for what would have been, a 5-minute cameo. Would have got me a point instead of Ailing's none. But no, told him to sit the fuck down. So why moan about 5 subs when then you're telling a sub to go sit back down?
A very good point.
Stupid, I tell you. But what did you make of the pen?
Yeah, the pen itself, I was shocked to see De Bruyne miss it. I think
I think he was
Yeah,
shit.
I wouldn't have given it, to be honest. I mean, I'm not a ref, but
No, I think it's very similar to the Kilman incident. Obviously, it's deemed as a handball now, but no, I don't think there's a lot Gomez could have done by that. And then I guess you can kind of say karma prevailed because normally you'd expect De Bruyne to step up and bury that. And it was a dreadful pen, and obviously Sky are using this spider cam so you can watch for the angle for the penalties. And obviously using that, it shows just how bad it was. But then when the camera goes to De Bruyne's face, I think he looks as shocked as we were.
yeah, he
It's quite
was.
amusing.
The look on his face, yeah, was a picture.
I know, yeah. But as for Liverpool, obviously Salah and Mane combined to get Salah's goal, which, Salah's going to continue to score goals. I was a bit pissed off. Obviously, I don't own him in Sky at the moment. Thankfully, I do in FPL. But got to maybe look to get him back in. The biggest talking point is probably Trent's injury and the fact that we've been told that he could be out for a month. So,
as glad as I can be seeing that. Obviously, we don't like to see players injured, but I was very happy that I took him out this week. I would have been kicking myself had I seen that injury and not taken him out.
Cheers, mate.
Myself.
Yeah, thanks. No, I think it's going to push me to. I think it's going to push a lot of people to actually press that button now. We've been holding.
That's kind of annoying in a way, to be honest, because some people would have held on and perhaps persisted with the 2s and the 1s and the -1s.
Oh no, it's been a joke, but it's not been their season. But yeah, I guess for you, obviously you made that move. Potentially didn't get the returns this week for it, but it's now going to push a lot more people, and that ownership's going to tumble. So I genuinely think
now the most owned defender.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that sums it up. But hopefully we see more than a half of football from these two clubs after the winter break. Fuck me, after the international break, and then fingers crossed they stop moaning about substitutes and just use the fucking 3 that they've got. So we'll see.
I hope so.
So do I. Right, last game of the week and another shock. Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 3.
Wow. Didn't see this coming. I don't think many people did. No. Maybe Arsenal fans would argue they saw it coming, but wow. What this game summed up for me was McGinn. I played him, and obviously the first minute he scores a beautiful goal, absolutely smashes it into the top corner. The keeper's got no chance of seeing it, regardless of if he can see, if Barkley could be anywhere. He could be out of the stadium and he could have a clear view of that shot. He's not saving it.
Yeah, agreed.
And yeah, absolute bullshit. I kept saying bullshit over and over again. I was actually doing a mindfulness exercise at the time where I had to write down a word that was in my head to describe how I was feeling. And then I just wrote bullshit repeatedly. Yeah. The idea was you write the word in different fonts and you just experiment like that. Okay. So I just wrote bullshit creatively on my pad.
Don't blame you, mate, because...
Yeah, fuming.
Well, and the fact that it took the VAR officials 4 minutes to analyse whether it was a goal or not. So it's clearly not clear and obvious. There's the fact it's taken 4 guys to decide if that's a goal or not, and it's taken them 4 minutes, surely means that should be given as a goal.
Exactly. The delay was a joke, and Sky needs to sort out their app because the McGinn goal was on there for fucking ages.
I checked at full time and it was still on there with the green.
Yeah, taunting me, mocking my return. I didn't get. Every time I went on there to check the stats and that, McGinn won. I was like, no.
Oh no. And Grealish was again exceptional. I know he's a cocky player anyway, but he's full of confidence right now. I think he's arguably he's having his best season at the moment. Playing alongside players that I think he's enjoying playing with in, Watkins, Barkley, McGinn. They've got a real good kind of partnership amongst them and a real good understanding. And we're seeing the benefits of that. Arsenal didn't really know how to deal with them for long periods. And I think it was for Watkins' first goal. They basically taunted Arsenal's defence between, I think it was Barkley, Grealish and Matty Target. It was just played with them, and then obviously eventually played it through, and then Watkins started at home. So if we see more of this from Villa, and obviously we seen it 7-2 against Liverpool, and we thought, oh, that's a shock, and it's not going to happen again. They've then gone away to Arsenal and bullied them.
Exactly. You're not slating the triple up on Villa now, are you?
No, I'm slating your triple up because, I mean, you benched Matt Targett. You've got McGinn instead of Barkley or Grealish. And, yeah, I suppose you got the Martinez clean sheet. But, yeah, you got to be playing Matt Targett in these games, mate. This is Aston Villa we're talking about.
Away at Arsenal, yeah. First on the bench,
know, yeah.
11 points staring me in the face.
I think for Arsenal, the biggest stat to come from this was the fact that Aubameyang looks just completely useless where he's been played at the moment. Arsenal are not getting the best out of him. And I think it was XG for the season came out and someone's analysed it. And at this rate, and the way Aubameyang is taking chances, he's likely to get 2 goals this season.
Jesus. Didn't realise it was that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not looked great. Not what I expected at the start of the season. Everyone was expecting him. Oh, he's been reclassified as a midfielder. Here we go. And yeah, he's wasted out wide. Needs to be through the middle.
Yeah, agreed. I think the time is now, probably after the international break, to drop Lacazette. He's missing chances that if Aubameyang's there, you'd expect him to slot home. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see Aubameyang start through the middle, but I guess it really depends on how reluctant and how stubborn Arteta's going to be.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to change his methods anyway because it's not working.
No, exactly. Right, well, that brings to the end the game week review. Shall we have a little look at our teams and then maybe go through some thoughts for post-international break?
Yeah, I'll share mine first.
Yeah, seeing as you got more points this week, you might as well.
Yeah, so 66, a very slight green arrow for me, up to 594k.
Nice.
Obviously, KWP and Kufal bringing home the bacon for me. I'm very happy with those two. An unexpected clean sheet from Martinez.
Yeah, good solid points in your defence there.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. On another day, Zuma would have got a clean sheet.
Yep.
Zaha got an assist. I was quite disappointed, to be honest. When you see 4-1, you think Zaha would be more featured, but I'll take the assist. And yeah, 14 points on my bench for a second game week. The week before that week, I had 14 points on the bench as well. But I'm just glad Target's in my team, to be honest.
Yeah, just shame you're not using them, mate, you know. Have you got any thoughts for game week 9 with your team?
Well, so I've got that money in the bank and I'm going to take the international break to think about it. I've not got any immediate thoughts. Like I was going to move on McGinn. But I think with the run of fixtures, and he actually looks fairly decent, especially with that goal that he banged in, I think I may still hold him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, obviously you can see on the screen now, I've got my team up. Basically, it was a grey arrow for me this week. I went from 1.8 million to 1.8 million. So, 59 points got me that, which for the week it was, I can't really complain. It was a little bit frustrating. Defensively, the only real performer was Kyle Walker-Peters for me. Got 9 points. The rest, obviously, Trent, Zuma, Ayling ended up coming on for 0, and Johnston with a 3. There's not a lot. Podence is there, staring at me in the face with Foden. Obviously getting 1 and 0, which is frustrating. Foden didn't even make an appearance, which is why Ayling came on. And then obviously, thankfully, captained Kane. I'm really happy at the moment with my front line in Kane, Werner and Calvert-Lewin. But maybe I get the feeling, unlike you, I'm thinking of moving the Spurs assets on. And I may even be looking at taking a -8 after the international break, just to sort a few things in my team. So
do it, mate.
You'll have to wait and see, but there are obviously the fixture swings that I want to target. I'm still holding my wild card, and I have no intention of using it just yet. But if
that
I can
make international break, perfect, and you're thinking of a -8, it would be the perfect time to use it.
Nah, I'd be wanting to make 6 or 7 changes to warrant using a wild card. Whereas if I can do 4 changes for a -8, because obviously I've got 2 free transfers, then I think that's fine. And there are probably 4 reasons staring at me in the face that I need to change. And if I make the right decisions, I could probably make that -8 up in a week. So that's the intention anyway.
Yeah,
But
you could do. Yeah, with City's turning
yeah,
fixtures as well.
we shall see. Right, let's look at Sky, because I think we both had a pretty reasonable week this week. My first team got 90 points. It would have been over 100 had I actually captained Bruno. Instead, I brought in Werner for the injured Ings. So obviously, I thought I'd gamble on the Chelsea fixtures. Got points for him. You know, I got 7 points, which is why I was frustrated, because I'd obviously captained him instead of Bruno. If he had got the 2 goals, it wouldn't have really mattered, but he didn't, and I've missed out. I think it was 12 points if you take in consideration the difference between the 2 captaincies. So that was frustrating. Other than that, I think the team's looking okay. I'm relatively happy with it. I may look to move Kane on, but it's frustrating from a Sky perspective because we still don't have the confirmed fixtures. So it's really difficult to plan, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is.
But for those teams, I think I'm sitting at 2K in that team and then 5.8K in my other team. So I think I'm relatively well set, and I've got 33 transfers left in both. So
what did you get in the team 2?
I got in team 2 81. So again, quite close between the 2 teams. So, but that was more of the difference. Obviously, I captained Bruno in that one, but then I had returns from Son. Didn't do anything for his points. And then I didn't get any points from, I think it was De Bruyne either. So,
okay.
Yeah. How about you? Because I think you had a pretty good week.
Yeah, so Team 1 actually had a better week than it has been having. It could have had a really good week, to be honest, if I captained Bruno Fernandes instead of James Rodriguez.
I think that's the big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, and Son, obviously, the captaincy there's hurt me. 2 to 4 points. Vestergaard, very happy with that performance.
Lovely captaincy.
Sorry?
Lovely captaincy there.
Yeah, very happy with that. Martinez in goal. Yeah, it's Grealish is ticking away. I'm not too bothered about the team. I think maybe I could move on Rodriguez potentially, but I'm not going to do it this week. Playing for
definitely not.
So that's sat at 33k, and then my second team's at 7k. It's gone down to 7k from 2k due to only getting 58 points this week.
Difficult week, yeah.
Yeah, very tricky one. Obviously, Barnes has punished me there, being on the bench. Dallas, the -1. Gabriel coming in didn't work as planned. I expected a clean sheet. But obviously, Grealish benefited from that. And yeah, I think it's just a 1 week dip for this team. I think I'm happy with that team. Maybe we'll have to have a think about Barnes, though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think, you've got the cover.
I reveal my champ man team.
Yeah, this is the bit I'm most excited about. Oh, here we go. Right, for the listeners, do you want to go through it player by player?
Yeah, I'll give a breakdown for you. So in goal, I've picked Shay Given, one of my favourite Newcastle goalkeepers. Well, the great Newcastle goalkeeper, to be honest. A defence of Ashley Cole, John Terry, Ian Hart, and Tom? How do you say it? Tome, that was it. I've been watching the stream, so I couldn't. And midfield 3 of Harry Kewell, Steven Gerrard, and David Beckham. Up front, we have Kyle Court, Van Nistelrooy, and then Dion Dublin in order of greatness. Dion Dublin, I'm putting him in, and hopefully he'll start like he was doing last season and bag me some goals. Even though he's 33 in the game, I think I've got faith in old Dion. The bench, I've got Dean Kiley for Charlton in goal. Matt Holland first on my bench, which I don't like. I do want to play him, so I may have a play around before Thursday. Al Jafri and Madison.
Interesting team. I'll call you a casual because everybody that is playing Lampard or Gerrard in this game are being deemed as casuals, and
I'm one of them, mate. It's fine.
Exactly. Dion Dublin could be a very interesting one. It's obviously, I think it's Dublin, Balaban, and Angel are the Aston Villa forwards. And sim data that a lot of people have doing, and we found it last season as well, one of them could go off. So if you've got the right one in Dublin, you could be on for one there. So it's potentially a really good shout. I like the fact that you've got 3 probably playing forwards, which is pretty good. I think Carl Court could potentially benefit from the fact of Newcastle's kind of style of play this season. Obviously, he's going to play alongside Shearer. Immediately, I am questioning why the fuck you're playing Emerson Tome instead of Matt Holland. If you want to play Holland, you should be playing him. He's at home against Leicester. In this game, you'll come to realise quite quickly, very rarely do you have an away clean sheet.
So, yes, I did hear this with the home advantage.
You may well
I just heard everyone banging on about how good Tome is.
He is. So, honestly, Tome is a brilliant pick in this game. Most people are going to own him, I think, defensively, given he's only 4.5, and he'll consistently pick up bonus points. But you're better off playing a player like him in home games if you have a midfield option. Yeah, you change it on the screen immediately. There you go, mate. Already looks a better team. But yeah, you'll come to it, and obviously on Thursday you'll see as well. But you should 100% be playing good home players, and then not be too worried about benching the away assets. Other than that, I think you've done all right there. To be fair, mate, I think it's an okay team.
Good news.
Let's go to mine. So, big reveal, and I think people on Twitter have probably already seen this anyway. I've posted it in a couple of group chats. I am attacking home fixtures this week. So
Bloody hell, you definitely are.
Jaskalainen in goal. Then John Terry, Titus Bramble, Mikael Sylvestre, and Gareth Southgate is my back 4. I've then got Wally, Holland, Beckham, and the renowned Petkov.
I heard a lot about Petkov.
Tactician on Twitter is very reluctant to own him. A lot of the rest of us in the Chatman community have got him, so we'll have to wait and see whether he's right there. But I've then got Van Nistelrooy and Shearer up top with a bench of Poom, Whelan, Maddison, and Tome.
I like it. I like the strike force. Shearer and Van Nistelrooy. I think that's getting the glances from me. To be honest, that's what stands out. And the rest of your team isn't bad.
Sorry, what?
The rest of your team isn't bad. I think it hasn't suffered too much with the value up top.
No, the only one I'm not particularly happy with benching is Whelan. Again, I know they're against Arsenal, but it's a home fixture. However, I've got a feeling that I want to play Wally instead of Whelan. So,
well, I guess you're going to feel like a Wally if Whelan returns.
But there you go. It's only it's not a season keepers pod without James and his fucking ridiculous punt. But yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I've basically locked in. I don't want to make any changes now between now and Thursday. See, Thursday the stream will start. I hope you'll be on there as well, mate. And
I will be. I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like such a casual. I feel just so new to me. But the nostalgia is what's getting me going.
Oh, it's brilliant fun. It's essentially a Soccer Saturday-esque kind of event. Graphics has no doubt done wonders with the actual stream itself again. And it's Teach Mode and Irons that are going to be hosting it this season, which I'm really looking forward to see how those two get on. You know, brilliant guys to chat to on Twitter, so I can't wait. As for the Fantasy Chatman community team, obviously we've done that this week. Thank you everybody for getting involved. We had a lot of people voting on all of our polls. We'll continue to do, I think, 2 more polls tomorrow, most likely, to pick your captaincy and your bench options. But very quickly, at the moment, you've picked Jaskalainen, Tarico, Hart, and Sylvestre, Wally, Kuehl, Beckham, Petkov, Van Nistelrooy, Whelan, Shearer, and then at the moment on the bench, but this will change, is Poom, Maddison, Delaney, and Tome. So I think as overall a community, it's actually a far better team than I thought they'd go for.
No, yeah, it sounds decent. Similar to your team, actually.
It is, yeah. There's quite a few players in there I either want or have got. So we'll come on to wanting players with the questions, because I know there's a couple of questions in there from a few of the Chatman guys. And given time's a push, we'll get straight onto them, mate. So question 1 is coming from FPL Lion's Head, and he says, "I have a game week 9 captain dilemma. Please help." Okay, no problem. "My standard captain options aren't currently cutting it for game week 9, Salah and Kane. So I presume he's looking for us to give maybe alternative options, given he hasn't told us the rest of his team."
Yeah, but given we don't know the rest of your team, if you do own Grealish, a lot of people do own Grealish, home to Brighton would be worth considering. But I wouldn't discount Salah at home against Leicester, to be honest. Admittedly, their defence did look okay last game, but I think Liverpool are always an attacking threat in every game they play. So I think I'd go Salah, to be honest.
Yeah, that seems fair. If you were looking to move on to better captaincy options, maybe Chelsea, Man United might be suitable. Obviously, a lot of people might be moving on to Man City, but I think the most suitable candidate is probably Chelsea and Man United for game week 9 fixtures. David Strom. So in FPL, I'm on a wild card. Could this be the time to jump off the Spurs train and load up on City fixtures with the fixture turn?
There's a lot of talk about it, and I think it would be a good time to do it, especially seeing you're on a wild card. But I'm not sure if I'm going to personally. It wouldn't surprise me if Spurs actually beat City or even if they don't beat them, a return from Son or Kane I still think is fairly likely to happen.
Bold call, bold call. I think it could well be the time to move off of them. Obviously, like I said, if you've got 2, I would definitely be maybe getting rid of 1. United, City, and Chelsea also all have good targetable fixtures. United and Chelsea now, and then City after the Spurs game. So if you're looking to maybe make gains, it might be a good time to jump off, in my opinion. The second question from Strom is a Chatman question. So who do you think will be the biggest surprise in Chatman this season? And could we see some of the underperformers from last time turn it around?
Obviously, underperformers. Ashira underperformed, relatively speaking, last season for a player of his price bracket. But I think this season, the long ball tactics that they're going to play will benefit him. So I think, I don't know if you can consider Kyle Court a surprise as well. He may be a surprise. And with an underperformer, I think Shearer will perform this season.
Yeah, no, good points. Especially as a new guy, it's good that you've picked up on that. Obviously, been watching.
I've been watching the streams.
Yeah, for me, it'd be good to see maybe some of the younger players come through and pick up some more returns than they did last season. So the likes of obviously Ashley Cole, he's still young in the game, so it might be good to see him get some better returns. And in Luke's Discord and a couple of other chats that I'm in, Wes Brown seems to be getting a mention as a potential way into the United backline. So in some sims, he seems to basically play every game, and then in some sims, he misses out entirely. So if we find that in our sim, he gets a regular start, then I think it could be worth getting him in as a 5.5 Man United enabler. So something to keep an eye on. Question in from Rob Reed. So in FPL, again, do you think it's time to shift on Son and Kane with their upcoming fixtures? If so, who should we be aiming for? Chelsea assets such as Ziyech and Werner? Question mark.
Again, it wouldn't surprise me if Spurs assets do get a return against City. I think Son and Kane, I'm reluctant to take either of them out, to be honest. But if you were going to, I think Son to Ziyech is a very good move to free up funds. I think then that allows you to upgrade a 4.5 defender to maybe even a Chilwell if you've got a little bit in the bank as well. So it is worth considering your team as a whole. If you've got other problems elsewhere, then it makes more sense to downgrade. Whereas I'm quite happy with how my team is distributed, the rest of the team, that I'm reluctant to move off them.
Okay, yeah, that seems fair. For me, yeah, I think providing you don't have other fires to put out, for instance, the Son to Ziyech move might be quite a good one because it would free up funds elsewhere. That's maybe one of the options I'm looking at. So something to consider. I think just money in this game is obviously quite key. So if you could find the moves like that, even Son to someone like Grealish, for instance, might be a good way of freeing up funds to upgrade elsewhere. Question in from Steve Bird. Who was the unlucky player to just miss out in your Champman team, and do you think they will get in soon?
Berg from Blackburn for me at 4.5. He had a decent season last season, but the blanks just put me off a little bit, and I may consider him later on in the season.
That seems fair. I think Blackburn might be a bit of a hit and miss team, but it'll be good to see what other 4.5 options kind of come out. For me, it's Ian Hart and Harry Kewell, the two Leeds boys. It's just, like you said, the early fixtures have put me off of those two. But I am leaving 1.5 million in the bank. So the idea is to then potentially move up, from one of my current defenders or midfielders onto one of those guys. So wait and see. Second question in from Steve. Were there any of the poll results that surprised you for the Champman community team?
Not really for me. I didn't expect the expensive option to win so consistently in the first few. But other than that, the sort of main picks that I thought that the community would go for, they did choose.
Yeah, that seems fair. For me, the biggest surprise was Tarico being picked. I mean, he was a legend in the game last season, but we put him obviously up against Southgate, Gordon and Bramble. And I was quite surprised because I genuinely thought Southgate might be the one that came out of that poll. So for Tarico to get in spite of the fact that he's yellow flagged as well, so might not even feature in game week 1, for him to win the poll, was a bit of a surprise. Final question in from Steve. He loves his 3 questions. Finally, who is going to win Champman FPL? Clean sheet wipeout, FPL drug, or the community team?
I reckon the community team or yourself, but I'm not expecting myself to win in my first season.
If it isn't me, I give up, mate, because I'm playing a brand new player and I'm playing a community team. So we'll have to wait and see. But if I haven't learned anything from last season, then I may as well give up now. Question in from FPL Glasto. So in Champman, how heavy are you stacking teams that blank in game week 2 versus strong home fixtures?
I've not particularly targeted the home fixtures, but with regards to the blanks, I think I'm on 2, maybe 3 that will be benched in game week 2. So I've not let the blanks affect my team selection too much, but I am covered for game week 2.
Nice. Yeah. No, I think as you saw and heard, I've gone massive on the home fixtures. The idea is to attack those home fixtures in the first game and then maybe try and kind of back myself to maintain rank rather than trying to chase. So it does mean, however, I think I've got basically a full sweep of away fixtures in game week 2, which in Champman isn't always great, but I just wanted that home coverage and then hopefully they've all got good fixtures. I've only got 1 that blanks in game week 2, so I think I'm covered there. Final question then in from DB Sky FF. Should I keep hold of double leads in Dallas and Ayling? Despite the amount of goals they are conceding, they're constantly getting bonus. Can't see anyone else matching them at their price and not sure if it's worth the sideways defensive transfers.
I would definitely say keep them, to be honest. I think the tiers and the assists and the goals that they're getting, particularly Dallas, take some beating.
Yeah, agreed completely. One, I wouldn't be moving off of them because of those tier points that they're getting. I mean, Leeds conceded 4 at the weekend. Ayling gets 5 points. They conceded 4 the weekend before. And then I think Dallas got 9, was it? Because obviously he scored a goal and got tier points. They're picking them up. Between them, I think, you've got coverage there. And I'd also maybe not waste transfers on moving defensive assets on because you could be wanting to jump on the better forwards and better midfielders. So that'd be our advice. And obviously, as newbies, that's probably the route that we'd go.
Definitely.
That's all the questions then, mate. And I think that will bring an end to our 14th show.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. As always, like, share, subscribe, retweet. Give us a shout.
Yeah, all the business. We'd love all the questions that you guys keep playing, and hopefully we'll see you all on the Chatman stream. So it's a bye from me.
And a bye from me.
See you guys later.